Shades of Blasphemy.
Freebird. Coming to you now quite live from Pineda Studio. It's a Bad Year Records production. I'm Sascha Saintevic. With me is Briano Hawk here on the 4th of July night when this is actually being taped. So you might hear some fireworks in the background in the lovely city of Austin. Briano, how you doing?
I'm all right.
I think maybe it's apropos that there's some sort of a cracking sound in the background because today we're going to discuss the debate between analog versus digital. To some extent, I think sound quality is one of the things that's first brought up. And
Yeah.
it's strange because the people who often will argue, let's say something like the vinyl record LPs, they're like, you get to hear the warmth of the sound of the music. And a lot of times they mean like you get to see like hear the imperfections, the cracks.
The crackle, yes.
Yeah, in the background. That somehow sets the mood better with the music. Like you can feel the music better as opposed to a digital quality, which might sound cleaner but more compressed. So what's your take on that? As an audio engineer, your professional take.
Yes, as an audio engineer, digital is a lot easier to manipulate. It's a lot easier to record, things like that. Hence why we're doing recording with digital, cameras digital. Everything's digital so far, and that's just the way it is in society as well. But analog does give you a little bit more of a warmer tone, a little deeper. It's a little more truer, I guess, to the sound you're trying to go with for the most part. But you do get that little crackle depending on what you're listening to it on, like the records, like all the douchebags, or what are they called?
The hipsters.
Hipsters, yes, those guys. Like they, really prefer to have the vinyl, and the vinyl has that nostalgic sound of the, the crackles and stuff. But with digital, you can actually add it in there. So I mean, it's not that it can't be there. It's just.
We need to differentiate. There's a difference in the way things like LPs are produced today and the way that they used to be. So usually everything is made on a digital format at the beginning nowadays. And even when they put it to vinyl, it's put from a digital format to vinyl. Whereas back in the day, they didn't have the digital format didn't exist.
Yeah.
Decades back, all I had was analog.
Yeah, I mean,
so that's why it came out much it's why it's like. Compression comes back to cars. Just the way it was made was different.
It gets very complicated in that sense because it was technically always digital, even in analog, because the sound is a digital sound getting transferred to tape. And it's not like, it's going to a computer to a tape. It's the sound is being digitized in a sense by electricity to transfer the noise, vocals, instruments, things like that. It gets digitized, electronically to go to whatever recording you're using, like tape, digital recording, like on a computer, things like that. It's still the same process. So technically, it's always been, in a sense, digital, but it's not digital to the modern sense of that. Know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know.
Right, but I mean, usually when people think about digital, of course you can stretch the definition.
Oh yeah.
But what they're talking about, like digitalizing, they're really talking about making it more like using computerized sound, computer produced.
Yeah.
As opposed to any other way, and that's sort of like what they're comparing it with. Now the thing though that a lot of times neither side in this debate wants to get into is like there are advantages and disadvantages to either format. It's not so much about like analog is always the best, vinyl record's always superior to all the other one to whether CDs or the straight out digital format, or that the digital one is superior in every way because because of its ease of use. I mean, it depends what your preference is and where you're coming from in this debate. If you're strictly talking about that warmth of the sound and to hear the music as it's recorded, as it was recorded in the studio, to hear that sort of a certain melody that comes with it, yeah, sure, the analog approach is better because it captures it better.
Yeah.
Whereas digital will just naturally, basically, clean it up in some sense.
Yes, it's digital. I mean, analog digital has their whole thing. Analog, like I said, is a more natural, warmer tone. You know, that little more bass to it. Just though it's all natural. It's not like something you have to mess with and actually add to it. Digital, it's gonna pick it up clearer, a crisper, sound. So you have those less crackles and stuff. But if it's not done right, you still do get those cracks and those little sounds. But that's because you're probably pushing too much on like your volume and stuff when you set it up. Which, analog gives you a little bit more of a cushion with that. It doesn't give you that crack if you go too high. It just takes it, things like that. So like I said, digital is easier, but it's also a little bit more troublesome in the sense that if you don't set it up properly, it can give you a little it can give you a bad recording for the fact that, you're pushing too much energy towards it. And analog can take a little bit more, it has a little more buffer. So,
well, a lot of the modern sound music, something like Skrillex, if you absent of the digital sound, it would be pretty hard to sort of really capture it on the analog format, wouldn't it?
Yes and no, I guess. I mean,
because
Skrillex,
the music
it's that whole dubstep stuff. It's very
dubstep
digital.
In general, very digital.
It's very digital,
but
it's created through the computer. I mean, it's created. I mean, not just computer, but I mean, it's created. Mainly just by messing with sounds and manipulating tones and things like that to get you the sound you need. But if you have an ADAT machine or a tape machine, you can literally have it hooked up to where it's pushing out the sound through that and back through to your goes through your mixer out to the tape machine and back to your computer. To where you still have those things, you can still create them. It's getting recorded as an analog, So it is a digital analog in a sense. But I mean, yeah, it's a lot easier, for Skrillex and all those, dubsteps and stuff to make it just straight into computer. They can make them on laptops without any keyboards, without anything. It's just a bunch of, mouse pressing and manipulating tones. So I don't know. Do
you think there's anything to it when people say like it's the whole push, the nostalgic push for like vinyl is really a hipster craze because people always like to go back to sort of every decade or two, people like to look back on a decade and say like, we really had it right at that point. Like people will look at 80s music, which we're not fans of, and they're like, that was the best music ever had. That's where it peaked. And they'll do the same thing with movies that kind of sucked from the 80s and the 90s, and they'll say like it was like the greatest thing ever. Like a lot of it though is people like to have like this retrospective view about anything. They glamorize it a bit. They're like, like back in the olden days we had this and it was so much better than what we have now. Yeah. And do you think any of that drives forward this debate? I mean, like not for everybody, of course, but for some people, you think that has an influence on it?
Yeah.
Like let's say the hipster crowd.
Yeah, no, hipsters are very, like I said, they're douchebags. They want to be hip hipsters. Mm-hmm. They want to be what's supposed to be the now, the modern things like that. And I like records, I do, but it's cleaner sound if you're listening to it on your tablet or your cell phone or whatever it is, your MP3 player. It's kind of hard to walk around with a record player and jam out as you're walking around riding in your car, unless you're like old school as hell and you have like a 1950s, 1930s, type, vehicle where you have to crank up the damn thing, and then you crank on the stereo phone, and you just walk, just driving around, listen to it playing out loud. that there's no way for records to be played in cars and things. And so, I mean, it's records are I think that's a good thing. Like, vinyl is a good thing to have, like a collection wise for certain genres of music, like classical. I think it works better. I love listening to classical music on vinyl, but I just like classical music in general, But I mean, on vinyl, it just gives me a little more of that nostalgic, I guess, feel. And so it works better that way. If you're listening to a Skrillex on, a vinyl, it's not going to be the same. It's just like, what the hell was all this extra sounds, things like that. So, I mean, it has its advantages, to listen to it or to have, the different things at points. But it's more like, I don't know. It's not really a nostalgic thing. It's more just a preference of, I like to listen to this at my house, but this is what I'll listen to everywhere else. And, all those hipsters like, no, I don't listen to anything unless it's just vinyl. So, it has to be vinyl all the time. It's like, then shut the hell up and get the hell home,
Well, but for a lot of people, though, it's like the ritualistic aspect of it. You get to physically hold the album in your hand. And a lot of people had the same thing, like why they loved purchasing CDs, because it had like the whole cover and like the way they had laid out, and the tracks were laid out in a way that the musician wanted them to be laid out. The artist thought they would be, they picked each track supposedly for a purpose. But like, let's say, like idealistically speaking, people like to look at the artwork. People like to, take it out, put it on there. You put the needle to the...
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with vinyl. It's more of I think it's more of the thing.
Yeah, but we can't underestimate the appeal some people have in
but that's actually where it came from. Like, an album actually came from vinyl, because you literally had an album of vinyl. It wasn't one record. It was a big stack, like a photo album of records. So you had an album, and then they started doing more of the fancier cases and, before CDs and stuff, but they'd still do a nice artwork. You look at the back, has a whole list of things. They'd get them, to where you'd actually open it up and you'd have artwork in between, and you'd have, the records or whatever. Some people, I think, would actually do little booklets, things like that. And so, it is that whole look at the album, look at the artwork, look at the, lyrics or whatever it is. CDs, that's one thing I loved about them. It's, you try to listen to Snow and you want to understand them, you better damn sure have that CD and looking at the actual lyrics
and you'll be shocked what's there.
Because you'll be like, hey, this is what he's actually saying. Not like, mumbling and stuff and pretending like you know what the hell he's saying. So, that it's, I don't know. I'm waiting to see, and I'm thinking it may happen, but I don't know. We're going to go back to tapes. They're stuck on records. We're going to go back to the tape now. And then it's not going to last long, because then people are going to realize how crappy the tapes were, because the fact that they do get eaten up half the time. You can't keep them in the heat. There's a lot of crap to deal with those damn tapes.
Here's the thing, though, about tapes that made them awesome for the time they came out. Why they wiped out all the other mediums for the time that they were there.
They're small and you could take them with you.
You could take it with you. And not only that, if you don't like what's on the tape, you can record over that tape to anything else you want.
Depending. If it was a professional one, it's a little harder.
Okay, I'm talking about like you can do like your own mixtape.
You can record to the radio and stuff like that. Yes.
But I thought like that's why like when it came out, there was a convenience factor to it that really appealed to people. Yeah. It was like the first time you can. Like now you can make your own playlist easily, like with digital, like stream music. It was like the first proto playlist that people had. Like you could sort of make any mixtape that you want, turn it over.
Yeah, I mean, people.
If you don't want that song, you tape over it again.
Yeah, no, people would make mixtapes. They would, record certain songs off the radio or record a song off of a record there or a tape they already had, and go back and forth, make a love tape or whatever,
make a mixtape, send it to your love heart,
do that stuff, whatever, So people would do that, and yes, it's a whole different thing. It's like, oh, I made this just for you, and you actually decorate the thing, and you know, write whatever on there, and all the song lists, and all that fun stuff.
Again, but with tape, there's still that visual aspect that you know, like some people would argue, you sort of lose with the concept of like, you know, iTunes and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
Because sort of like there is no physical copy there. I mean, like I guess the device you're listening to is, but it's kind of it's kind of cold and mechanical for something. Like there's an artistic aspect of it.
Like nowadays, you're digital, so you don't get the lyric sheets unless you look online or you get lucky and you find, you know, whatever. You don't get the artwork. So I mean, they'll do a photo of the front of the cover or whatever it is, the artwork for the album. But you don't get any more than just that one photo, that one thing. You know, vinyl gave you the whole thing. You look on the back, there's still stuff on there. Mm-hmm. Tapes would give you the whole leaflet, and it has tons of different artwork and lyrics and whatever. CDs, same thing. Mm-hmm. You know, but now, I mean, just the way it is, digital versus the analog stuff. Analog still gives you that artwork, you know, if you know, because they do still make records and stuff. They don't make tapes anymore or stuff like that. CDs, yeah, but I mean, you can get all that stuff there. But if you go to iTunes or you know, whatever other music purchasing site there is, Napster and junk like that.
Not anymore.
Well, Napster's I think still around.
Yeah, but it's like
it's purchase sites. You know, that's what I'm talking about. It's just those you actually purchase your music and stuff. All you do is you get that one album or that one digital photo plus the whole album. Mm-hmm. You know, very rarely do you get like a specially
it's more
designed
like a
digital
it's like
thing that gives you.
That comes
But I mean they give you the
picture.
artwork. You see the artwork of the cover. Very rarely do you get like a deluxe version that actually gives you all the artwork and the songs. Yeah, it's just pictures, and people are like, "Oh, why do I want pictures? I'm not paying for the pictures." No, whatever. You know, so I mean, that's the one thing is, with digital, it is easier to record. It's a lot quicker to do stuff. With the invention of digital recording music, everyone and their freaking mother is a recording artist now. Mm-hmm. You know, put out whatever, do podcasts, and what we're doing. Just everything. People just put out junk everywhere with digital recording. When it was analog, it was a hell of a lot harder. Not a lot of people did it. You had, the only people who were like really interested in making an album or want to become a musician, get out there, get heard, things like that. They would spend the money to go to recording studios and actually, make an album or a demo and sound fairly decent. Now it's like, oh, I made a demo and, I did it in my garage. I was in my room, I made a demo. It sounds okay. I was like, yeah, you're just clicking buttons. You don't know what the hell you're doing. Mm-hmm. You
can clean up these.
But I mean, nowadays everyone's kind of
clean up.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Nowadays, everyone kind of is a recording artist or engineer or whatever. Things like that. You don't really have, a big need to go to a recording studio unless you're a professional, musician trying to get a professional album done with, proper sounds and stuff, and you don't want to deal with the recording process and the editing process and mastering and CD distribution and all that other junk. You just want to record, do your music, and not really worry about it and play whenever you have to play. You know what I mean? So I don't know, but yeah.
The one thing people often forget is because everybody sort of gives lip service to the whole idea of whatever. Someone you lose the creative aspect. Actually, when talkies first came out in movies, the people who were really big on silent movies thought that, you're going to lose the creative aspect because actors aren't going to need to express themselves any longer. You know what I mean? They're not going to they don't need to act any longer out the scene for you to see what they mean because they can just speak it. So anytime a medium changes, people sort of have this debate about creativity. I mean, that there's an artistic quality that gets lost. The one thing that's forgotten is as far as the market driver things is, obviously the concept of just creating your own playlist, streaming music digitally is popularity-wise much higher than the market is for For vinyl. Now I know that vinyl has had a resurgence lately.
Oh, yeah.
But if you look at the number of sales, iTunes
iTunes
beats it out like crazy.
That's,
there's no way.
That's the thing. iTunes pretty much iTunes. They killed the record stores. I mean, really, the record store industry pretty much died
back in the day.
No, they pretty much died because freaking iTunes and their, buy a single, buy whichever track you want out of the whole album. Album sales went out, down the drain, out the door.
Well, why would you want to buy an album if you only like 3 songs?
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing. You buy the vinyl, you buy the cassette, you buy the CD, you play those 3 songs, but you still have the full album. You heard the whole thing.
Right.
Maybe there's a hidden gem in there. You just hear 30 seconds of a whole album, the whole thing. You're like, okay, well, no, I don't like that one. I don't like this one. You don't hear the whole thing. Maybe the song gets better or hits a chord for you later on in the thing. No one sits there and listens to the whole damn thing.
Right.
They just, oh no, this is the one that's being played on the radio, because MTV doesn't play anything anymore. But, it's playing on the radio. This is the popular song. So they buy that song. They don't hear the rest of the album. So they killed the album, the artist doing all this work to put out the best work they can, write songs, do things like that. And they're killing the whole album thing because freaking you only buy 1 or 2 tracks, 3 tracks tops,
So do you think artists should would it be market-wise, would it be smarter for them just to release singles and not full albums?
That's the thing. Is now artists are like, okay, well, let's release a single.
Well, they
do one song, they release a single, they keep releasing singles, and then they take all those singles that they did and they put it into an album. So a person buys the album after they bought all those damn singles.
Well, an album
this is the album.
A collection of tracks.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just how
that's the thing is they used to just, okay, we put everything out, see which ones hit, this is the ones we'll try to push, and there you go. But now it's like, oh no, well, I put 15 singles out. Now I'm going to put those 15 songs in a compilation album. Just call it whatever the hell, and there you go. Now it's my new album. Now I'm going to go promote my new album, and you're going to hear one track of the whole thing, anyways, because that's the one that's making the most sales, or whatever.
But the argument would be that since this medium is clearly winning on the market, there must be more appeal to it to the common consumer,
easier.
Like a music
That's the thing.
geeks and stuff.
It's just easier.
But like for convenience, it's a big deal. But for a lot of people, they don't seem to care about like whatever creative.
No, that's the thing is it's easier to deal with digital stuff and this distribution of digital than it is with analog. Analog includes tapes, vinyl. CD is actually digital, but it's kind of being considered analog because it's not being purchased as much because it's not online. So, I mean, that's the thing is it's convenience. It's easier just to mess with. Sound-wise, it's crisper, because it doesn't have so many imperfections. You don't have to worry about the tape being like, cut in half and burning or whatever. There's a lot of different things with that. But, I mean, it's just the fact that digital processing is getting a lot easier nowadays. That's why everyone and their mother, like I said, is a recording artist or a engineer or does something or whatever. And you get just podcast people like us who just kind of, it's like, we got some stuff we just purchased for fairly cheap. Let's see what we can do.
Right, I mean, look, most of the work is already done first. We just have to upload it to SoundCloud, YouTube, wherever.
Yeah, but
like, it's not like we don't have to do like any of the extra stuff that used to be involved. Thing is,
I mean, we're not in a big studio really getting out there and doing all the extra stuff and trying to ham it up. We sit here, we actually discuss the topic for the most part. We just go straight to what we're trying to do, and then we upload it and see what happens. If we were bigger.
It works the same way with people who listen to music. Like, look, I get it. They put effort into making an album, but let's say I listen to the whole album. I only like these 3 damn tracks.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy these 3 damn tracks for whatever it is, 99 cents each. And then I'm going to screw the rest of it. Make better songs.
Yeah, no,
but
that's the thing is not everyone's going to like the same songs, things like that. I mean, for the most part, everyone's going to be like the same song because the way society is. They want to follow everyone else. You're not gonna, you're not gonna like, one track that everyone else doesn't like, just and be like, yeah, no, the rest of them suck. This is the best one there, and it's like not the most heard track. You're gonna be like, yeah, no, it's okay, but I like this song better because it's just more popular one, and that's just what they do. It's force feed you.
It's never a coincidence which songs get picked to be released as singles. There's a lot of study groups that go into this.
Yes, I know.
By the labels, where they want to put out the songs that they think is going to get the most airplay, it's going to get the most mass appeal, it's going to get the most positive coverage. So they'll never pick like, I guess track 8 is good enough. They'll always pick like, okay, this song has whatever, the feel, the energy that in the past has always had the best results. So this is what we're going to give you. And then this will be your representation of this.
Yeah, I mean, that's just, because that's, like I said, that's the thing. The record industries pick out the songs. They put them on, MTV when they were doing stuff, VH1 when they did
songs
stuff.
That were released.
Radio, Spotify, Pandora, all that stuff. They put it on all of that, and they force feed you it. Mm-hmm. That's all they do. They just force feed it to you, and you can't get away. No, they force feed it to you. You can't get away from it. You're in you're watching a movie. You're watching a movie. It boom pops up. Whatever. You're driving in your car, you have the radio on, boom, they throw it on. You're flipping through channels. You're going to come across it no matter what. You're force-fed it. No matter where you are, if you're in a shopping center, they're going to play a popular song. You're going to hear it. So it's not like, oh, well, I can choose not to hear it. No, it's going to be force-fed you. That's just the way it is. It's a crappy thing.
If you interact in society, you can't avoid social
the only way to avoid
culture.
Being force-fed anything is to be a hermit and not listen to anything and not have any sort of technology, stay away from the internet. I mean, everything.
So be Amish.
No, they even hear popular music, and they're like non-technology, and they still hear it. I mean, you got to be worse than Amish.
Just Henry Thoreau, go live in a cabin somewhere, live off the land.
Yeah. I'm sure you'll end up hearing it anyways.
Right. Well, I don't know. I've always felt like, yes, you're going to be exposed to music. I remember doing like back when Justin Bieber and Miley Cyrus were first coming out. Yeah. Like the amount of course, they obviously had some fans because they became popular and they sold records. Oh yeah. But there was a lot of backlash against both of them. Like, oh, this shitty ass mass-produced bubblegum pop bullshit. But that response got to a point where I'm like, it seemed like people were deliberately going out of their way to express their hatred of it, even in times where they didn't call for it. Because I would remember going to songs that had nothing to do with that. The genre had nothing to do with it. But if you scroll down to the comment section, it would mention, oh, Justin Bieber's gay, Miley Cyrus sucks. The song has nothing.
It's not even
the band has nothing to do. You're not, like, it's not force-fed to you at that moment. Yeah. Why are you even bringing it up? So a lot of times people will sort of also jump on that bandwagon they want to express how much they hate what's popular and how much, and that's also where you get the bullshit about
like I do with Metallica, because they suck. Anyone who listens to them are brain dead. Yeah, I said it.
Saints of Blasphemy drinking game.
Yeah.
now you take a shot.
Freaking stupid ass Metallica sucks freaking ass.
But ironically, they were the ones who fought. They're sort of like the ones who are seen as having fought the whole digital craze, because a lot of times Napster was like the first taste people got about like the new digital format, like what eventually became iTunes legally killed the same way that people said Napster would kill traditional like records. iTunes did it. They just did it legally because they give a percentage off to the. They give
1%
music. Whereas Napster
of their 99 cents that they get.
Because I said like in our Napster episode, Napster is the reason why they can't charge you, whatever, $16-17 for a damn CD any longer. Yeah. Because why would you pay for it? You'd be crazy. Yeah. You can just get the songs that you want.
Yep.
But for a long time, Metallica was sort of seen as like
killers.
they were the rebellious band in the 80s who then became like the old guys telling the young kids to get off their yard.
Yeah, I mean, they were the young rebellious band who were saying, "Oh no, screw the record industries,
But
record our shows,
nowadays, though,
do all that stuff." And then right when they
imagine.
started losing their money, no, them bitches, they're like, "Oh no, we need our money, wah. Stupid ass Lars Ulrich, freaking son of a bitch."
Don't forget about Dr. Dre.
Dr. Dre, he's always been a money grabber. He may have been NWA, but he was more,
Compton.
he's more of a, he needs his money because he can't pay his child support
Now, why do you insinuate that?
because he wasn't paying his child support.
Fair enough.
But anyways.
But yes, Metallica tangent.
But
Well, when I
Metallica sucks as always. But anyways, digital is, like I stated, a lot easier to mess with.
In
than
the
it is
modern
with
age,
analog.
it is more practical and more convenient. That's just
And
a fact.
the funny thing is, some artists actually still prefer to go with analog.
Yeah.
And they will, say like it's, may take more time, it may take a little more money or whatever. It's harder to find the tape for it nowadays, but they prefer analog, and they will take their time to do it because of the sounds it gives off, the tones and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. The freedom, in a sense, you have for, sound quality. Like Foo Fighters, they did one of their whole albums. They did it actually, all analog. They did everything like literally analog. They even went as far as making music videos using tape recorder, like an actual video, VHS cameras, analog as much as possible to state that how much they actually liked analog. And the funny thing is, VHS tapes, they're not that good in quality at all.
No, VHS is a shitty.
Which goes into digital versus analog. VHS is analog. Video nowadays, which is shot in Sony whatever and red dot digital stuff, which is like ridiculously high quality, and it's still getting better because like the new 4K TVs, and then there's the new one which is like an 8 billion pixel per square centimeter or something.
I don't think anybody is ever gonna. I don't think you can rationally argue that HD TV is not clearly superior in quality to any analog TV.
Oh yeah,
at any time. Like if you look at like TV from like way back, not even way back, from like 15 years ago.
10 years ago.
10 years ago, before the mandatory HD conversion took place.
Yeah.
It's clearly superior to it.
Yeah.
Like there's no way to say. So it's like digital does what it does. It cleans it up and it makes it more clean looking. It does that with music. It does that with TV. That's its purpose. Now, again, of course, if you're like one of the purists and you're like, if music is so, if you have a deeper appreciation of music than like just a layperson, and this would not be the general public, you're going to be drawn a little bit more to the process of it, and you can hear the process of it in analog much better than you can with digital. Because again, like I said, anyone and their mother can sort of make a halfway decent sounding digital recording of anything.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times the software will have it programmed in there to clean it up for you. You push a couple of buttons, you move a few dials, and there you go. Whereas with analog, you can sort of see the talent, or lack thereof, but let's say the talent of what was put in to make that sound.
Yeah, I mean,
so to people
it's harder work,
want to have a deeper
you're...
appreciation of it, for them, it's more like this is. I feel like this is a pure expression of what I was looking for.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing is, you can, as an artist, you can be happier with your work when you do something off of analog than with digital, because you have to work your ass off to get it, sounding perfect with analog. You can, do one take and manipulate it with digital if you really wanted to. Freaking auto-tune and all that other stuff out there nowadays. So you have all those artists who are like, no, I do it in one take with, 100 hours of someone messing with the damn thing to get it sounding right. Pitch correction and all this other stuff. And when you got those artists who can do it in one tape with analog, that's freaking ridiculously awesome. you know, because I mean it's hard as hell to do it. Thing is like you do it in one take. Did it actually take? You have to actually listen back and be like, okay, no, the tape was, you know, messed up there, or used too much, whatever.
Well, there's always a cleanup process involved. That's why you pay people who are professionals to do a really good job.
Yeah.
And you can always tell. That's why you can always tell the difference between an indie produced album.
Yeah.
And one from top mainstream
a big
label, big name label, like but for a lot of people that unfiltered sound from the indie album is sort of what brings them that appeal.
Yeah.
As opposed to, they're like, well, it's way too clean.
Yeah, I mean that's
and for certain
thing.
genres like like punk music, that appeal is there because the whole point of it is
to be dirty and grungy.
To be dirty, grungy,
nasty,
authentic, real.
Yeah.
It's not about.
But I mean that's the funny thing is I've
proper.
actually heard that comment from some people before saying, "Oh well, it sounds too clean." Mm-hmm. It's like, well, you want it to sound clean. If it's not clean sounding, then it's not going to be a good recording. It's not going to,
do they mean that it sounds
properly.
Clean, or do they mean that it sounds overproduced, like it's too auto-tuned?
No, well, I guess so. I mean, I never quite got a straight answer when I said that. It's like, exactly what do you mean too clean? It's just too overproduced, whatever. Like, no, it just sounds too clean. I was like, okay, so you want it dirty? So take a little less of the recording process away, a little less of the mastering, and you can probably make it sound a lot less produced. But if it doesn't sound clean enough, then they'll say, well, this is a crap, recording. You need to redo it. So, I mean, it's a hard thing to deal with when it's like digital, because you can make it really, really crisp, or you can really screw it up with overproducing it or underproducing it, and giving too much power to it to pick up everything. Yeah. But anyways, it's I think we've pretty much ran this topic as far as we can.
I think
we're gonna go into the impeachment of Trump. Impeach Trump. Impeach Trump.
You keep saying that, but I keep telling you, man. If
I'm telling you that year mark,
the GOP controls the majority of the
screw
Senate
them.
and the House,
all them old bastards are gonna die off.
They're gonna die off within the next 6 months.
I don't know.
They're just gonna have a heart attack.
I'm telling you, the 1 year mark. 1 year mark. He's gonna be stupid and get impeached, man.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
Yes, I'm standing to it. At 1 year, if he's not impeached, then I'll continue for another year. There's not much I can do about it.
That's quite. That's quite a gamble you're putting on yourself there, Brian.
So the 1 year mark, I'm telling you, he's going to be impeached. He's going to do something too stupid that the Republicans are going to be like, okay, fine, we better,
unless he ends up in jail or something.
Go against it, huh?
Unless he ends up in jail or something.
Yeah, I like I said, I'm amazed he's not impeached already. I mean, giving away, secrets and firing the FBI guy because he was investigating him means he's trying to hide something. That means he should probably be impeached. They should do a bigger investigation on it and get his ass impeached. Mm-hmm. He shouldn't be there. It's a stupid move that America did. Well, not all America.
You lost the popular vote. Now, people always say, America elected this guy. Let's not condemn all of America. He did lose the popular vote. And I know people say, like, well, instead of electoral college, you have to respect that, this, and that. I'm not saying he shouldn't have been sworn in. I'm just pointing out the majority of Americans, but whatever small of a margin, did not vote for him.
Yep.
That's just the fact.
But anyways.
Take it as you will. But yes, digital versus analog, I guess. I think we gave as nuanced enough of a take on that as we can. And we'll sit, and then we'll save it for the next time to see what else is going to be coming up. Are we going to be going into the indie music versus the mainstream labels? Which one sounds better? Which one's greater?
I don't know. We'll see what topic comes up.
We're going to talk. most definitely, we're going to talk about that Metallica sucks.
Yeah, for sure. That and
like
Trump being impeached.
That's unavoidable here from Peanut Desk Studios.
Oh yeah.
Our official motto: Metallica sucks and impeach Trump.
Oh yeah.
If nothing else, that's our consistent message. All right, and you get to hear about it today, and also catch you guys next time.
All right, guys. See ya.